Evan Dorr first heard about Harrow's Hollow through a police report buried deep in a forgotten archive. 5 people missing in 3 years, all visitors. No remains found. No explanation. Locals didn't talk. Tourists never came back. The place was disappearing from maps. As a featured journalist, Evan couldn't resist. He arrived in the village late October. It was colder than it should have been. The trees were blackened. Leaves didn't fall. They rotted on the branches. The town center was quiet. No phones, no signals, no cars. But the strangest thing was the sound that echoed through the narrow valley. Tick, 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 like hundreds of clocks, slightly out of sync. He stayed in the only inn. Maris Rest, the old woman who ran it, was pale and silent when she spoke. Her voice crackled like wax paper. "Don't go near the clockmaker's house," she warned. "Even time avoids that place." That night, Evan noticed every wall in the inn had a clock, some ancient, some modern. None showed the same time, and none had a second hand. In the hallway was a large grandfather clock. The pendulum moved back and forth, but the hands never shifted. When Evan looked closer, he saw the clock face wasn't glass, it was skin, stretched tightly, veins still faint beneath the surface. He had enough the next day. Evan went to the house at the edge of the village, the one no one talked about. It was black stone, built into the cliffside like a barnacle. The front door was shaped like an hourglass, carved from dark wood that pulsed under his hand. He knocked, no answer. He turned to leave, but the door opened itself inside. The house was filled with clocks, hundreds, some ticking, some silent, some without numbers. They lined every shelf, every stair, even the ceiling. And in the center of the room stood a man in a black apron. Back turned, his voice came slow as if spoken through layers of dust. "You're late, Mr. Dorr." Evan froze. "Do I know you?" The man turned. He had no face, just a smooth surface where eyes, nose, and mouth should be. But a clock hand jutted from his forehead, slowly rotating. "You hear them, don't you?" the faceless man said. "Each tick is a second someone gave away." He gestured to the walls. "These clocks aren't mine. They are people, bound to time, stuck in their final moment. All guests." Once, Evan tried to leave, but the door had vanished. The walls shifted subtly and the clocks grew louder. He pulled out his phone. The screen was black, but the camera app opened itself. The view showed the room behind him, and someone standing inches from his back. But when he turned, no one, just the whisper, "Your time has been measured." The hands are hungry. In a fit of panic, Evan smashed a nearby clock. It screamed, a real human scream, and the broken wood leaked blood. The faceless clockmaker sighed. "Now it will take longer to forget you." Evan ran through a hallway of ticking horrors, clocks made of bone, teeth, hair. Each tick came from a beating heart. He found a staircase and bolted down it. The base was a heavy, sealed door, etched with strange symbols and Latin. "Tempus meant time devours." He opened it. Inside was a massive workshop in the center. Hanging like meat in a butcher's freezer were dozens of people. Eyes open, breathing. Each had gears embedded in their chests, ticking softly. Their mouths moved without sound. Their wrists bent in unnatural angles, clocked hands nailed into the bone. He stepped closer to one hand. She whispered, "Please, wind me back." Behind him, the clockmaker spoke again, voice deeper now. "Time is not linear. It is circular, and in my house, it runs out." The clocks all stopped. Evan screamed as the hands of every clock in the room turned toward him, faster until he couldn't move. His body stiffened, his pulse matched the rhythm. And then everything went still. Evan couldn't move. He was standing but not breathing, not blinking. His heart thudded like a hammer caught in a broken rhythm around him. Every clock had stopped at 3:13. The hour refused to pass. He tried to scream, but no sound came. In the silence, the faceless clockmaker stepped closer. His skin was tight, pale, and hollow like stretched parchment. The clock hand on his forehead ticked once more. "You've entered the hour of holding," he said. "A place between moments, between seconds, between life and what eats it." Evan was dragged through the ticking maze of the workshop. He saw more of them now, people fused into timepieces, groaning with the low ache of eternity. One man was trapped inside a glass dome, every breath fogging the inside, eyes wild with pleading. A woman's face was the dial of a wall clock, her mouth forever open as the second hand scraped her lips raw. Another screamed silently, his body contorted into the curved spine of a giant cuckoo clock, the bird bursting out of his chest again and again. Evan was thrown against a slab of stone. At the center of the workshop it felt warm, like skin chains slid over his wrists, sticking, clicking shut with the rhythm of a stopwatch. The clockmaker loomed above him. "You should not have entered," he murmured. "But now that you have, you must serve time." Evan thrashed as metal teeth emerged from the walls, clicking, measuring. A brass mechanism descended from the ceiling, shaped like a ribcage. Inside it, a human heart, still beating, surrounded by cogs. To escape time, one must feed it. He closed his eyes, prayed, begged, then a whispered nod from the clockmaker, from within the gears. "There's still a way." He opened his eyes. A figure stood near the darkest corner of the room, a girl, She looked no older than 17. Her face was gaunt, her arms covered in burn scars. Gears turned slowly behind her. I was the first guest. She said I never left, but I learned how he works. What do I do? Evan whispered. She raised one trembling finger toward a rusted grandfather clock near the door, its glass cracked, its hand shaking. His time is bound to that. Destroy it, and he unravels. The clockmaker heard. He shrieked, not in pain, but in rage. The walls pulsed. Clocks burst like blood-filled ticks. Chains snapped around Evan, dragging him toward a massive wooden cabinet etched with Roman numerals. Inside, something moved, a mouth, too wide, too full of teeth. Time was trying to eat him with all his strength. Evan yanked his arm free and ran. He dove past the gears, past the screaming victims locked in twisted time. The grandfather clock stood waiting, trembling on the edge of collapse. He grabbed a jagged gear from the floor, still slick with oil and blood, and swung. Crack. Glass shattered, the wooden face split. Inside, instead of gears, was a pulsing black heart, wrapped in twine and rust. It beat once loud enough to shake the room, then stopped. The clockmaker screamed as his body bent backward, limbs turning like clock hands forced the wrong way. Cracks spread across his skin. Every ticking clock in the room exploded, releasing cries of agony and dust. The people fused to them felt some dead, others gasping back into life. The girl stood silently as the clockmaker collapsed into a pile of rusted parts and old bones, his final words rasping, "No one escapes time, you only delay it." Evan awoke outside the house, alone. The sky above was bright, but no birds sang. His watch had stopped at 3:13. Forever. He reported the village to police. They found nothing. No clocks. No bodies. No girl. Just an empty field with a stone slab and the faint smell of oil and copper. They said he was dehydrated, hallucinating, but Evan knows better, because every night at exactly 3:13 a.m. he wakes up gasping. His room is filled with ticking, and in his mirror he sees a second hand slowly turning across his forehead.